Yes, it is I, Holly Cameron, and I'm in your phones, but I'm also making an appearance, True Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the wrath. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some wrath in the show. So let me know.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for WWE Saturday Night's main event review, breaking down the latest edition, the January 24th, 2026 edition of Saturday Night's main event, which might just be the best Saturday Night's main event since the show's return back in 2024. And is AJ Styles really retiring next week? All signs are now pointing to a yes. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Sami Zayn becoming the #1 contender, Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu brawling all over the Bell Center with Drew McIntyre laying out both men. And we'll talk about the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships up for grabs in a match that clearly exceeded expectations. And to break it all down, I am solo for now, not for long. And I'm still laughing at WWE Unreal. I should probably reverse that. I should probably change that because that was yesterday's headline. And I'm just gonna put AJ retiring. Like, really? I didn't think it was possible. We talked about that on yesterday's flagship podcast, but we're gonna talk about it some more on this review today. But we appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Let's drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm oh so much. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can also sound off in the comment section. If you're watching us on demand, you can keep the conversation going and let us know what you thought about the January 24th, 2026 edition of Saturday Night's main event. And am I right? Is this the best Saturday Night's main event that we've seen since the show returned in December of 2024? I've watched each and every one of them, and I think that this is a clear lap. This slapped every single one of the Saturday night's main events that I saw. I was live in the building for the return of Saturday night's main event in the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York in December of 2024. I've watched each and every one throughout 2025, even Cena's final match, which was a very good show. I think this one slightly better, but let me know what you thought in the comments down below, as well as in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on Saturday night's main event. What did you think of the show? What did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in between? Like what you like, just don't be a dick in the chat. And of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel and our continued coverage. We're always here doing pay-per-view and PLE and specials for previews and reviews every single week. So check out the preview for Saturday night's main event. You can see what we predicted for the 3 matches that were announced on Friday before SmackDown. And you, of course, can hear our predictions on the flagship podcast from yesterday with me, myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the True Draw Josh over there. And of course, you can let us know if you got your predictions right in the live chat. But if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you could send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. And we always appreciate the support. Just like on Rated Raw Review, just like on all our streams that we do here, live streams, we got a super chat goal today. The super chat goal is for you guys. If you want it to be available for everyone, GOAT Match Series. That is our series over on patreon.com/TrueHeat, where me and Jimmy Macaron watch the greatest matches of all time. You can hear us discuss the matches. You can hear us react to the matches, and we discuss other things along the way as well. In our latest edition, we are going back in time to watch one of the greatest WWE matches of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart, the submission match from WrestleMania 13. If you want that available for everyone and not just Patreon, let us know by sending a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters, goes back to myself and anyone else who joins me on screen. So we thank you so much for all the support. You guys are awesome with the super chat donations, with your support in the chat, and just being active in the chat, like our main man, Cody Loke in the chat, who says, top of the top, THH, hope all staying snow-free. We are snow-free here in the UK. It is just very cold, very rainy, but no snow, thankfully. No snow. Everyone out there, if you are hit with the winter storm or you have been dealing with anything, stay warm, stay safe. Hope you all are gonna be, doing well for sure. We got Clown in the chat who says, good morning, everyone. We got Zach Minger who says, good morning, SP3, Josh, and everyone. National Fish Taco Day. I'm not having no fish tacos. I'll just tell you that, sir. We got our main man, our member of the channel, Alan Banky, who says, what's up, THH family? It's been a while. Hope y'all had a good holidays and hope y'all are safe during the winter storm. I definitely hope everyone is safe, staying warm, and staying inside, hopefully, where you can be the warmest. King Damian, who says, good morning, SP3 and Josh. The snow is here in North Carolina. Hope y'all and the chat are staying warm and safe. Hope you are as well, Davion. Thanks for joining us today. But of course, to review any show, I need someone to bounce off of, someone to bring their opinions as well. And we got one of the folks here on the THH family and staff and team, whatever you want to call it, our gang, our family here, who is the most unfiltered of them all. He is the True Draw himself. Josh, how are you feeling? You look warm.
I am, because I just came from outside.
All right, MJF, with your Burberry scarf. All right, I see you. I see you, cuz. I see you.
Yeah.
Gotta fix the hair there. We got our member of the channel, Alan, once again, who says Shin versus AJ slapped. Put to shame that awful WrestleMania 34 match. I wouldn't say WrestleMania 34 was awful. It just wasn't as great as Wrestle Kingdom 10. I saw some people saying, "Oh, they gave us the Wrestle Kingdom 10 matchup last night." I was like, "No, Shinsuke Nakamura
Not
is
close.
not physically. He's not physically where he was in 2016 that he is in 2026." But it was an excellent matchup. Definitely exceeded any and all expectations going into the matchup for sure.
I definitely did. It's just that people, if they're gonna call it that, well, Wrestle Kingdom, like, then you guys have set your standards way too high because it was a good match, better than I expected. But I mean, now it's gonna top Wrestle Kingdom, and I think we gotta accept that. And we don't gotta, they don't gotta top that. I mean, these guys are past their 40s now. Like, this shit happened what 10 years ago. This happened 10 years ago, so it's like. It's not gonna be the same. It ain't gonna hit the same, but just like Cena and AJ didn't hit the same, but it was great for what it was. Like, it was great on its own way for two guys who are pushing 50. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. We got Good Doer who says, "Hey everyone, hope all are safe. I love the community here. Wishing everybody is safe. A lot in the chat. Appreciate that from y'all." We got King Greg, Greg Carter, who says, "I can't even hate on WWE. SNME was good. Like, we have criticized, and rightfully so, WWE a lot throughout 2025. I will say though, 2026 so far, it looks like it can be better. I'm not going to hold my breath because I did feel the same way about early 2025 as well. After the Netflix premiere, after that awful Netflix premiere, I thought the couple of weeks and then Royal Rumble and then Elimination Chamber were great. And then it fell off a cliff on the road to WrestleMania. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but I've been enjoying WWE so far in January of 2026. And SNME, Saturday Night's Main Event, probably was their best show so far this year.
yeah. A lot of the stuff they've been doing has been solid. It's been like solid TV. Raw's been iffy, but I thought the last episode of Raw was actually really good, in my opinion. SmackDown's actually been very solid ever since it went back to 3 hours. So they're doing things the right way, but I also think if they kind of go this route where they simplify certain things, right? They just keep it simple, not overdo it, not over, like it being overdone when it comes to certain things. I think they could be fine. Like, if they kind of drop this wall of like, oh, we're the house brand, I think that it could be watchable. And like you said last night, I thought last night was really good. Like the flow of it. Remind you, only had 3 matches because the other match didn't start, but it had a good flow to it.
Like you said, that match didn't start, but that was a great angle. That was a great angle for what it was.
Yeah, like it didn't start, and then we got 3 matches, but I honestly think it benefited last, like the way they did it, just because like they had 2 hours. It was like 2 hours, so it didn't feel like it was being rushed, or it didn't feel like it was dragging. I felt like it was the right time. I felt like the flow last night was the right flow, and I think that's what made the show better.
Yeah. We got Good Doer who says, "Hey SP3, big fan of both Nakamura and AJ. It's a shame we haven't had this version of them more often." I feel like a lot of people, to compliment or praise last night's matchup, they are tending to forget that they have had a great match in WWE. Like the Money in the Bank 2018 matchup. Even Nakamura brought that up in his Instagram story. That is one of his favorite matches from his time in WWE. I think a lot of people tend to forget that because the previous matches leading up to that in their feud in 2018 were very below what they can deliver. But they've had 3 genuine great matches throughout their career. Wrestle Kingdom 10 is the best of the best. That's like either near 5 stars or it's 5 stars in my book. Maybe that's another one that we'll watch on GOAT Match Series to give it a proper 10-year later review and rating. But I think that the last man standing match at Money in the Bank 2018 was excellent, and I thought last night was probably their second best match.
Yeah, Money in the Bank was good, and I think part of it that people tend to like overlook it just because how their feud went. It was very one-sided. It was a very one-sided feud. So kind of people basically checked out when it comes to when it came to Nakamura and when it came to AJ Styles, because people wanted what they were getting in Wrestle Kingdom and they weren't getting that. So they kind of just checked out. But I thought that was a good match. The Money in the Bank one, I thought that was their best matchup. You know, and then yesterday you could debate like yesterday was probably their best matchup, because I said that I was like this might have been their best matchup. There was some sloppiness. I'm not gonna lie. There was like maybe like 2 spots that I saw that I was like, oh damn, they fucked up on this. But you know, overall it was better than I thought it was gonna be a nothing match. I'll be honest with you. But the fact that you know they had Nakamura come out with his old look, his old theme, and they made it feel something, and I thought they did a great job when it comes to that.
Agreed there. Carnage say 107 Carnage, who says, and Sami getting pyro, Drew none is diabolical, laughing emoji. Drew got pyro when he won the WWE championship. Give Sami his pyro. It's fine. He ain't gonna get no pyro at the Royal Rumble.
And they did it because it was Montreal.
Exactly. We got King Ellie Show, who says, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's safe. Looks like Ryan Ward is turning the product around. You know, we here at True Hero Heat, we're all about Ryan Ward supremacy. Ryan Ward for head booker. That's what we need. He's my booker of the year already, Ryan Ward.
Unfortunately, Triple H will take all the credit for that.
Yo, I swear, he's the one doing all the work, and Triple H gets all the credit. This is ridiculous. We got Rachel in the chat, who says it looks like Meltzer might be right about Cody versus Drew versus Fatu match and Randy for a possible fatal 4-way. Is it WrestleMania main event worthy? At least it means we might get Roman versus Punk finally. I mean, I don't think the WWE would run an angle for the triple threat matchup if it's going to be the WrestleMania main event this early. I don't know about you, but unless Fatu wins the Royal Rumble, I don't think that's WrestleMania worthy. Fatu has to win the Royal Rumble for it to feel like, you know, Cody has the right with the rematch cause to get into that matchup. Drew can build up momentum as the champion. Yeah, that would probably be the route. Maybe Randy gets added for a 4-way, but that just feels convoluted then. I feel like if anybody's going to get added to make it a 4-way, it needs to be Roman. And that solidifies it as a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, because Randy, I think that would just be a plug-in, or like, here, damn. I just don't see Randy in that position, especially the way they've been using him. He hasn't been on TV much. So I don't see him being in the title picture in general, just because he hasn't been used. But as far as WrestleMania, I mean, I think Punk and Roman, I think we kind of have to put that to bed, because I don't think it's going to happen. For the reason they don't want to do it. Roman,
we don't know. We don't. Maybe if Roman wins the Rumble next week, he decides to go after Punk instead of Cody, or Punk instead of Drew.
I mean, that'll be great. Honestly, I mean, that would be great. You know, like I would like that route, and I've been saying it. I would like to see Roman versus Punk. I just don't see it happening now for whatever reason. Because you know, like they switch up ideas, and we kind of saw it firsthand on Real, where it's like they never have a set plan. So there's like no set plan. I don't believe they have a set plan right now.
Yeah, even if Roman and Punk is on that whiteboard, they're gonna erase it, and it's gonna be something else for WrestleMania probably by the time we get there. Power Driver Finisher says it was a great match. Talking about Shinsuke and AJ, he says this is the one time I actually appreciate WWE bringing up NJPW. Unfortunately, yeah, they did. You know, great. But unfortunately, Michael Cole lied or didn't get his facts right, because he said that AJ versus Shinsuke was Shinsuke's final match. No, he said it was AJ's final matchup in New Japan Pro Wrestling. No, it wasn't. The next night he faces he teams with Kenny Omega to versus Nakamura and Yoshihashi, and that leads to Kenny turning on AJ Styles and creating the Elite. So if you're gonna mention New Japan, at least get your facts right, sir.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like, last match. Because I remember I was like, last match. I'm like, did he just purposely mention that? Or did he forget? Like, they wrote him out the very next night. That's how he went to WWE. Like, that was the reason he went to WWE. Because they wrote him out. Because they knew he was going. The fuck?
Yeah. But yes, we gotta talk about Saturday night's main event. Took place from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. What did you think about the crowd last night in Montreal, Josh?
I thought the crowd was fine. There were some periods where they were down, like they were quiet. Like we were watching Nakamura and AJ Styles, they were pretty quiet, but it was kind of like, I don't think it was quiet in a bad way. I think it was quiet as in like, oh shit, this was a good match. Let me sit down and watch it. Like I felt like that's what they were doing. But overall, I thought the crowd was good. You know, usually when they go into Canada and you go to these areas, it's usually really good. Montreal's no different, you know. But also, you know, they need something. Montreal needs something, you know, because, you know, like 20 years ago, they lost the Expos. So, you know, they need something to cheer about. And I thought they did it good.
I agree. The crowd actually boosted up this show a lot for me personally. Canada's always a great WWE crowd. It's WWE country in Canada. Well, Canada's great for AEW and other promotions as well, but it's just something about WWE big shows in Canada just hit different. So we kick off Saturday night's main event with everyone's favorite, Stephanie McMahon. She kicks things off with her at the host desk solo this time, as she explains that Joe Tessitore was apparently stuck in an airport due to weather. Speaking of weather, she mentions that it was dang cold, -7 Fahrenheit in Montreal, but the building was hot. She then asked if Montreal, are you ready? And then she said it in French as well. Yeah, good job. She is totally the meme of the white woman using Spanish. She is definitely that. After the video package, we get the traditional footage of wrestlers arriving was shown with a twist, though, as in the footage we see most were shown in the building having coffee or looking at Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup trophies. We then see Jacob Fatu walking backstage. He is getting hyped for tonight's opener as he goes one-on-one with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Fatu yells at Cody through the camera before stomping down to the ring. He gets a nice ovation. Cody got a bigger ovation when he arrives. He's wearing his skull mask helmet, being borrowed. I guess he borrowed it from Triple H because it looked very familiar. You get all of that, and Cody does his woes. As Cody's making his entrance, immediately Jacob Fatu jumps him. He makes him climb into the ring. The two start brawling. The referee was knocked over right away. The bell hadn't even rung yet. Officials flooded the ring and tried to calm it down for some reason. Then security arrived to pull both men apart, but the fight continued. There is no kinds of like competent WWE security guard, it seems like, ever. Fatu went into a zone formerly held by like Ken Shamrock. He leaped off the ring post and took out several security and officials at ringside. Rhodes got to his feet and the two brawled up the ramp. Rhodes threw Fatu back into the ring and clotheslines him right over there. Then he does a tope suicida and then poses on the announce table. He cleared the desk, but Fatu tried to get to him through the crowd. Rhodes followed and they brawled in the crowd. Fatu backdropped Rhodes onto the concrete, but Cody got up and tossed him into some road cases. Fatu then dumped Cody into the lower bowl seats and they fought up the steps and towards the dreaded concession stand. This is a concession stand brawl at this point, as we got food and drinks and garbage cans being thrown at one another. You see Jamie Noble begging them both to just stop. Fatu started choking Cody with a poor security guard got in his way, so he slammed him with a uranagi through a table. Cody fought back. He threw a drink in Fatu's face. They brawled back down the stairs with Fatu bending Rhodes over the railing. They made it back to the floor with 20-something security guards in tow. They climbed up some production boxes, and another guard got in the way, and he got tossed to the floor on a pile of the other security guards. Suddenly, someone just leaps up, and it is none other than undisputed WWE champion Drew McIntyre. McIntyre tosses Fatu through a table. He then low blows Cody, and then he stands up top as the fans are booing him for stopping this fun brawl between the two baby faces. And then finally he picks up Cody. He delivers a big power bomb through another table off the boxes and lays out both of his ops. McIntyre then wandered over, saw the damage that he caused. He then goes over to the ring. He climbs inside the ring, and he basically stands tall to end this segment here. I'm of two minds with this angle. I thought the angle was great. This was a great angle that basically got WWE out of booking a finish, where it's just a chaotic brawl. Fatu just looks like an absolute superstar between the segment on SmackDown, or the face-to-face with Cody, the sit-down interview where he was completely blooded out. He was gangbanging. This was awesome. I love that segment. That was the best thing on SmackDown. And then in this brawl, he just came off like this unhinged star that's just different, that brings a different feel to everything. And Cody really thrives in these type of situations when he has to have like a brawl that doesn't have to look kind of pristine and look good. It could just look gritty. He has that grit to him, that Dusty Rhodes in him, being his son, that makes this work. I like Drew coming out and laying out both guys. It could set the stage for what will be the WrestleMania main event triple threat matchup for the WWE Championship. It just feels like too early to do that. I really, if you're going to go in that direction, I think Fatu should win the Royal Rumble, and maybe Cody wins the Elimination Chamber, and that's how you set up the triple threat matchup. But as far as like giving us a fun, vibrant, energetic start to the show, this was great. This was not what I expected. I thought, like I said, this was a very fun brawl. I would have, like I said, I'm of two minds, only because I was really looking forward to the match, and it didn't make any sense why they didn't just ring the bell after everything got started. But for a bait and switch, this was the right way to do it. They executed this angle very well. What did you think?
I thought the angle was I thought it was well done. Obviously, I'm in the same boat with you, where it was like, damn, I really would have liked to see the match. But, I think they're in a situation where realistically, none of these guys can't really lose. Fatu can't really lose. Cody can't really lose. So it kind of saves space when it comes to that, where it's like, oh, like they're both even, that happens to them. But I thought for an angle, I thought it was really good. It was well paced. It was, and for me, wrestling shows, anything that's well paced, that wins it for me. And I thought they did a good job when it comes to that, because they went all over the place. They went around the building. They went to concession stands, like you said. So they did a lot of stuff. Like, it wasn't just like a simplified brawl, even though I knew some bullshit was happening because of the security. I'm like, these motherfuckers never come out like this early when it comes to like stuff like this. So that's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, this match is probably not happening. But again, for an angle, I thought it was really good. I thought it was well done. I have no complaints about it, just because, like, honestly, the time frame that we got, it was kind of a length of a match, so it kind of makes up for that. So I mean, I'm not really upset about it. It was a good angle. I mean, you're gonna have a non-match. I mean, this is kind of the best way you could do a non-match.
Yeah, the people are gonna remember the way this whole started and this brawl that they had, and then Drew coming out and laying out both men, continues his rivalry with both guys, and gets him a little bit of revenge for Fatu basically attacking him in the 3 stages of hell, and then attacking him in London when he was celebrating his title win. So as far as like brawls go and fun brawls to not give a result for a matchup, I think this was well done. I would have just started the matchup and still just done the brawl, and they both get counted out. We could have got a little bit of a matchup in the ring and then gone to that, but they had this at a very tight 2 hour duration for this entire show, so I can't complain too much about that. Do you think that this angle is enough to basically start the build for a triple threat match at WrestleMania? And do you think that is going to be the match for the WWE title at WrestleMania when we get to April?
I think it's a little too early to really say. For me, it's too early, so it's really hard for me to say. But then also, again, I'm in the same boat when it comes to Jacob Fatu. I think there's things you can do with Jacob Fatu, but at the same time, he hasn't done much lately, and that was because they had him off TV because of the, he had the injury issue. So I think there's more that you have to do with him to make him more established for me to even have any real thought of like, oh, wow, this is the triple threat they're going with. Because, again, when it comes to WrestleMania itself, right, we also have to look at WrestleMania under a microscope, as in like, all right, because this is a 2-night show, they care about the money that's being spent, the money that people are spending to send those arena. Is this going to be the main event that's going to draw people in? You know what I mean? Like, is this going to be the show that's the main match that's going to bring people in? And if the company doesn't feel that way, then they're not going to do it. So we also have to look at it in that aspect. Right now, I don't see that happening, but it could happen. It's all about building up certain guys, and I think the guy who probably will need it the most is Jacob for this to even be believable. And that could happen in the different ways. That could happen for the Royal Rumble. That could happen for Elimination Chamber. There's different ways you could heat that up. The company themselves just has to give a shit for that to happen.
Yeah, they gotta build Jacob Fatu up a little bit more for him to be in the WrestleMania main event. That's why I said like he was probably not be in my like running or my top 3 choices to win the men's Royal Rumble. But like I said, the last 2 nights did a lot for me to be like, you know what, I can jump on board with. I love Jacob Fatu. I've always been a fan of Jacob Fatu from his days in MLW with Contra. And, I've seen him. He's just so agile in the ring, but he just has that different kind of personality. He's got a lot of hood in him. And you can see especially us growing up in like New York, Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, respectively. Like we can understand Jacob Fatu a lot more and see a little bit of ourselves in him. So he has that connection with a different section of the fan base than what Cody has. Like he's a different type of baby face than what Cody is. So I see Alan in the chat who thinks that it's going to be Cody versus Fatu will be at WrestleMania instead. If you want to get Cody away from the title picture, that could be a route that you go. I think if you do go in that route, if it's a non-title matchup, you can't do it babyface versus babyface. Cody has to turn heel. Cody's gonna be the heel when you get to WrestleMania, especially because of even the sit down interview with Cody basically shoving Fatu's checkered past in his face. He came off like the heel. Fatu was the babyface who's learned from his mistakes. That's a flawed human being, but he is still, fighting every single day to be in the spot that he's in, while Cody has basically had everything handed to him. The son of a wrestler, he's pristine, he's got the suit, he's got the nice hair, he's got the baby blue eyes. Like he is like the antithesis of what Jacob Fatu is. If you want to make that work, Cody has to turn heel, and I don't think WWE wants to do that. So I think that the direction that they would go is Cody, Drew, Fatu, where you can keep them both babyface. You can lean Cody maybe to tweener, if anything, but Drew is the real heel in this situation. And that's how this this whole angle turned out, where it was two baby faces going at it. They have an issue. They have some bit of hatred that they have towards one another, but then the heel was there to kind of get all the heat and lay out both guys. So I think that if this is the start of a build to WrestleMania, I appreciate them starting the build to WrestleMania early, because we started off the show with Stephanie McMahon saying that tonight marks the start of the road to the Royal Rumble. And I was like, oh, that's why you guys haven't been building it up until this week. Oh, okay. That explains it. But I like the fact that if this is setting up, one of these guys winning the Royal Rumble, maybe another guy winning the Elimination Chamber, or Cody just using his rematch clause, you can start the build to WrestleMania early. And I like it if that is the case here.
Yeah, and then as far as Cody versus that's not happening. I think Cody, they're gonna have him in the title picture, whether we like it or not. Do I like it? And I'm a Cody fan. It's whatever. He's a top guy, and if the only way that happens, if Cody was to be selfless like he was with the Drew title change, the only reason why that title change happened is because Cody was a big influence in that. He was like, hey, I think this is time to do it. So in certain aspects, Cody is very selfless. Do I think he's completely selfless? No. That's the politician in Cody. That's the part I don't believe in. It's like he gave Drew the title, but then it's like he's still in the title picture. So as long as Cody's still in the title picture, I don't see him not going after the title in any type of way. So in the singles match, we're not a title. I don't think that's happening. I probably would say more so maybe like next year or the year out, because next year there's so much stuff in the air, just because certain entities going to be responsible for that. But Cody, he's going to be in the title picture. Like, no matter what, they're going to find any type of way to put him in the title picture, and that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. Moving on, we get a promo for the WWE 2K26 video game that will have a Attitude Era edition, like they announced on freaking Friday Night SmackDown. But now it's gonna also have a Monday Night Raw, a Monday Night War edition. Literally, guys, this is me. This is a talk with fans as well as WWE. It's the same fucking thing. The Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars overlap one another. You don't need two editions of the same thing. That was mind-boggling. I was like, wait, they said Monday Night War edition. They literally just announced the Attitude Era edition. And you've already done the Attitude Era edition. So I don't understand why you're doing it again. Like, yeah, it's been 14 years since WWE 13 came out, which is one of their best video games ever. So maybe it's been a while. It's been over, almost 2 decades since we did that. So let's run it back and stuff. But you can't do both of these things and like not expect some type of overlapping. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
that was a little confusing, but I mean, all this stuff has always been a cash grab to me anyway. So like it doesn't move much for me. I haven't really played a WWE game in ages.
Same.
But when I saw it, I was like, Attitude Era thing. I was like, that's cool, I guess. But then they have Triple H with the big gold belt.
They botched both of these covers. They have Triple H with the big gold belt, which is definitely from Ruthless Aggression era, not the Attitude Era. And then on the Monday Night Wars one, they have Booker T from WWE and not the regular one. And I'm pretty sure that Scott Hall is Razor Ramon, not Scott Hall.
That's true.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's bad funny. I guess
marketing.
They probably just pick and choose for marketing. Because even the Attitude Era, when you have Triple H with the big gold belt, I'm like, do they know that you could still put Triple H as DX Triple H because he was over as fuck? Like he was the leader and he was over as fuck. Like, so you could technically still put him, like him with the big gold belt is probably their least favorite Triple H. So I didn't understand that.
That's Reign of Terror Triple H. Yeah, that is the worst version of Triple H. Like I prefer the game. Like you could if they just would have just put him, they didn't have to use that render. They could have just put Triple H with the Shane Douglas hat. He had the Shane Douglas brim hat back in those days. Come on, man. Like what are we doing? What are we doing? And King Craig saying we as a people have to move past the Attitude Era. No. I'm gonna say no. We're still praising the Attitude Era to this day because that is the greatest era in this company's history. So I understand why they want to keep gassing it up. I just think that they should have just done the Monday Night Wars edition and done a Monday Night Wars like showcase mode like they did with the Attitude Era showcase mode from WWE 13. This edition should have a WWE WCW Monday Night Wars where you basically have like big angles that happen on either show. Like you play the finger poke of doom and you hear the overlap of Tony Schiavone saying the airport busting the seat, and then you see like the TV and you see the channel changing and it goes to Monday Night War with Mankind and Mankind winning the WWF Championship.
That'd be their way of saying "fuck you" to Ted Turner again. So I wouldn't put it past them.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what they're saying. Yeah, right. I understand why WWE doesn't move on from these eras because it's their greatest eras. That's why they're still doing replays of stuff, and that's why they rehash a lot of the stories from this era as well. So
yeah, and then also, you know, like when people talk about like when non-wrestling fans talk about wrestling and they talk about WWE, they bring up the Attitude Era a lot. Like, and I've had these conversations a lot where people will talk about like, oh, you know, back in the day I used to watch WWE, you know, like, you know, Stone Cold, Kane, like they'll bring up like the same like 5 guys, like The Rock, you know, like they'll bring up like the same like lineup of people that they said they were a fan of, and it's just like, oh, so you're a fan like when you were watching the Attitude Era, like you're a fan of that, like, you know, it's always funny because to me people always ask me about like, oh, you know, or when they tell me, hey, they should go back to the Attitude Era, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna age well in 2026. I'm telling you, it's not gonna age well.
No, a lot of it doesn't age well at all.
And a Vessel, I mean, it's good. It's still good for like back in the days. It's a lot of good. It's good for the angles, not so much the matches, but there are still a lot of great matches that you could still go to. Like Rock and Stone Cold had great matches. You know, so there's still great stuff that you can still watch, but a lot of it has to do with the angles. It has to do with the storylines. It has to do with the angles that makes the Attitude Era. And no matter what, if they find a way to make money, they're gonna make money off of it. I can't really be mad at it.
Yeah, it is true. Back from then after that, they recap the brawl that went down with Fatu and Cody Rhodes. We see Drew McIntyre stomping through the back to talk to Kathy Kelly. McIntyre said that anyone coming for his title can expect the same treatment he just gave to Fatu and Rhodes. So then we got our first official matchup. Josh, finally, we got the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships up for grabs. It was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, better known as RHIYO, versus the Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. RHIYO got a huge pop when they came out. Then Liv Morgan also got a big pop herself. Lillian Garcia did her thing as only she can, as she did the formal title intros for both teams. Sky and Morgan kick things off in the matchup, literally as Morgan hits a big drop kick. Then she bounced back, though, throwing a back elbow out of the corner. Perez tagged in, and they went for a double suplex, but Sky fought them off and took out Perez with the chop block. Perez tried to crawl out of the ring, but Io was able to catch her. The referee took a moment to fix the ring apron for some reason, and Liv snuck in a little choke on Sky on the ropes. Morgan then tagged in and she hits a code breaker, but Sky was able to kick out at 2. Then Morgan threw Sky around with some three amigos, but again, Io kicked out when she hit her with a big running kick as Ripley salivated on the apron looking to get into the matchup. Perez came in and laid in some elbows and some wild looking strikes as well. And then you get Sky, who reached for a tag, but Perez held her back and stomped on her ankle. Io countered with a roll through double stomp. And then we get the two hot tags on each side as the former rivals Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan started going at it. A smiling Ripley stepped into the ring and threw Liv around at the ground a lot. Then she hit a fallaway slam. She let out a big scream and hits a running drop kick to clear Morgan out. Ripley then went for the riptide, but Liv was able to counter into a code breaker. Ripley then caught her through, though, and picked her up for a razor's edge. Then she tagged in Io, but Morgan was able to wiggle free and then tagged in Roxanne. Ripley did not care as she headbutted Morgan and then dropped Perez with a big boot. Ripley then dragged Perez up the turnbuckle, but Perez was able to fight back, and Morgan grabbed her for a blind tag. She ran across the ring and knocked Io off the apron. Perez then countered Ripley with a head scissors from the top rope. Morgan then hit a code breaker, and Ripley kicks out at 2. Morgan and Ripley then went at it. They stayed legal, with Ripley getting a razor's edge on Liv. Io punctuated that with a missile drop kick, but Perez snuck in and snuck by Ripley and broke up the cover. Perez went for an around the world head scissors that put Ripley right on her head, spiked her with that. Then Sky tagged in with Liv prone in the corner and charge for the bullet train, but Morgan was able to dodge it. She hits a spinning crucifix or a 2 count. That looked innovative. I think that was May Sarah's finishing move from Stardom. With Ripley then on the outside, Perez and Morgan double teamed Io until she fought back and took out Liv. Perez then went for a sunset flip powerbomb, but Io countered it. She flips through on the sunset flip powerbomb and kicks her in the face. She goes up top for the over the moonsault, but Perez gets her feet up and then hits her pop rocks. She gets the 1, 2, but Io kicks out at 2.99. Ripley then came in, picked up Perez. She headbutted her. She hits the riptide, then tags in Io right on her butt. She hits the over the moonsault. She goes for the cover as Rhea is standing guard, but then Raquel Rodriguez comes out of nowhere. She trips up Ripley, and Ripley is dumped right on the referee before he's able to count before the referee is able to count to 3. She then dragged Ripley out. She dragged Io to the outside. She gets a power bomb on the floor on her and then throws her back into the ring for her partners, her Judgment Day stablemates, to take advantage. But then the music of Stephanie Vicaire hits. The WWE Women's World Champion comes out, Sane's walking boot as she's running down to the ring. She gets right in the face of Raquel Rodriguez, but she counters her when Raquel tries to choke her up. She hits her with a kick and drops her over the barricade. Then over the barricade, she hits a big cross body and takes her out. They fight through the crowd. Back in the ring, you get Perez tried to sneak one by pinning Io, but Io kicks out at 2.75. Perez then tagged in. She goes for Oblivion, but Ripley gets the blind tag in and then nails Liv with a big headbutt and then follows up with the Riptide for the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory as RHIYO retained the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. This matchup started off as like a bog standard WWE TV tag team matchup, but once Ripley makes that first hot tag, this one had so much energy to it. It was so energetic. The intensity came up. The sequences and the counter work was great between Io and Roxanne. Then you get some interference that follows up with the storyline between Raquel and Stephanie. I could have done without that, but all 4 ladies, Io, Rhea, Liv, and Roxanne, they over-delivered here, and the crowd was great throughout. I really enjoyed this matchup a lot more than I was expecting to. I gave this 4 stars. What did you think, Josh?
It was actually a really solid matchup. Fast-paced matchup. You know, I do agree that it picked up once the hot tag happened. It did pick up. Usually that happens a lot with tag team matches. because obviously usually that's how they build up with these kind of matches where the first opponent will get into the ring, right? And then usually the heels will be the ones that get the tag-ins, and then once the hot tag happens, usually that's what heats up it heats up the match. And this match was no different when it came to that. There was certain things that I didn't really need. I didn't need like the ref spot where Raquel pushes Rhea. I didn't need that stuff, but and Stephanie comes out, she finally looked smart for once. She don't look really dumb like she's been looking on Raw. So I mean, I guess that benefited her a lot. But overall, I thought it was a good match, honestly. I thought once that ref thing happened, I was like, oh shit, don't tell me they're gonna take the titles off when you just built up this tag team. They called them Rio, and you gonna tell me gonna lose the titles? But right team won, and I thought it was a good match. It was all the ladies killed it. Liv works well in tag matches too. Like it doesn't matter if it's Raquel, if it's Roxanne. Like she does very well. Like as much as critical as I've been on Liv, she has gotten better since day one. From where she was at to now. You're talking about one of the biggest improvements you will ever see, just because people thought she was a joke, and then now you kind of see like, oh shit, like she's actually really good. Like she's gotten better. Like she's, and props to her. Like I like stuff like that. I like seeing stuff like that. And this was no different where, you kind of see, again, like she works very well in tag matches, but overall, I enjoyed the match. It got the crowd into it, especially fucking Rhea. Like, when Rhea got that hot tag, it was like, damn, she over as fuck. They know what they got with Rhea. But again, great. It was actually, yeah, it was a great matchup.
I agree 100%. And yes, our famed catchphrase, leaps and bounds. This is actually a case where it is, being honest, Liv Morgan is leaps and bounds better than she was back in like 2015, 2014 when she first came to WWE.
It's true. And me, I was always giving credit when the credit is due. So, I mean, it's not really hard for me to say that because I'm like, I like when I see improvements like that. I like seeing stuff like that. It's the same way like I've been like I've seen improvements for Dom. Could he get better at certain things? Yeah, but Dom is not what he was a year or two ago too himself. So it's good to see stuff like this. I like seeing people who really improve on their craft. I love seeing shit like that.
Yeah, it's just, and this is what we want from these people. Like just because we say like sometimes like this person, we don't like this person or what they're doing right now, it doesn't mean that we won't grow to like them and see the improvement and see how they grow and progress. So it's good to see that with Liv a lot. Alan saying a banger of a match. Liv is definitely winning the Women's Rumble now, to me at least. I think I said it yesterday, or I said it on the preview. I think that it's between Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair right now for me, who's going to win the Royal Rumble. And since Bianca won the Elimination Chamber last year, I think I would go with Bianca to win the Royal Rumble this year to set up Bianca and Jade. But I definitely see Liv Morgan being in the WWE Women's World Championship matchup at WrestleMania.
I seen it the moment she got back from Survivor Series, to be honest with you.
True. It is true. It just seems fairly obvious that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, and it is what it is. That's the route they go. It's not really a bad route because you kind of see the pecking order of how they treat certain people. And with her, they've kind of made her feel like important on Raw. At least there's kind of like a more of a clear indication of what they're doing. If she wins the Royal for that, to be honest with you, just because I think this back and forth thing is it was confusing. Because remember when she came back, the following Raw, it was like, oh wow, they're gonna give her a big push, and then all of a sudden the following week, oh no, we're gonna pair you up with Roxanne in a tag team.
Yeah,
it was kind of like you just kind of did this, and it was actually a good angle, and then now you're putting her in a tag team. Like, which one is it? So at least if she wins, there's a clear indication of what you're going to do with her going forward. And I think that's something that they need to like address sooner than later. Of like, all right, if she's going to be at WrestleMania, she's going to be one of your top matches at WrestleMania. Establish that by Royal Rumble.
We got 107 Carnage, who says, think Liv winning the Rumble and Raquel beating Stephanie. I would hate that so much. I'll be honest with you. Like, I want to see Liv Morgan in the WWE Women's World Championship matchup, but I much rather see her go against Stephanie Vaquer than Raquel Rodriguez. That has all the making to be basically Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss from WrestleMania 34. And if you don't remember that matchup, it's for a good reason, because that matchup was forgettable. It wasn't bad. It was just forgettable.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that route.
Me either. Next, we come back from our commercial break, and then we get our next matchup, the aforementioned AJ Styles going up against Shinsuke Nakamura. This match was made on SmackDown in a backstage segment. AJ arrived with his special Japan mask as Michael Cole basically waxed lyrically about the first time that AJ ever wore it was for, he said, his final match in New Japan Pro Wrestling at the Tokyo Dome against Shinsuke Nakamura 10 years ago. He said, Nakamura made his entrance like it was black and gold NXT. The crowd was popping for both guys as they came out. The bell rang and they both took it in. We get a long stare down between the two men. Nakamura grabbed a headlock early on, but Styles shot him off the ropes and they locked up again. This time Nakamura went for a side headlock takedown. They wrestled through a few technical exchanges before Styles went for a leapfrog off the ropes and Nakamura hit him with a drop kick. They reset and they locked up again, this time with Nakamura pushing Styles to the ropes. He backed off at the referee's request after he did his little swinging of the arms with his head on AJ's chest. The two eyed each other, and WWE, you fucking idiots, you completely botched them doing the callback to the bullet, to the swallowing the bullet spot. But this time, Nakamura grabbed the bullet and put it in his chest like, love you. And then he said his, come on. They did that, and you get the drop kick and then a backbreaker. You get Styles pushed Nakamura to the floor, and Nakamura punched him in the gut. Styles responded with a elbow and then sent Nakamura to the outside. Styles then leaped over the ropes onto Nakamura, squishing him into the floor. Styles then tossed Nakamura back into the ring and caught him with a kick to the back of the head. Nakamura laid Styles over the ropes and hits him with a running knee to the ribs. Nakamura then dropped the knee onto Styles' face and kept control of the pace of the matchup. Nakamura grabbed a headlock and then shoved Styles into the corner. He stood on his neck, and then Nakamura went for a stomp, but AJ was able to roll through and he popped up with a clothesline. Styles hit a sliding forearm and then hit a neck breaker, but Nakamura kicked out of the cover at 2. Styles went for the Styles Clash, but Nakamura was not having any of that as he countered with a running knee to the face. He started kicking Styles in the chest until he dropped to the mat. Nakamura then hit a sliding German suplex when AJ sitting on the second rope. Then he nailed AJ with a flying knee strike. Styles then kicked out of the cover, though, as Nakamura set up for the Kinshasa, but Styles got out of the way and he pulled him down for a calf crusher. Nakamura screamed in pain and crawled to the ropes. I love that the commentary did a good job of explaining that AJ was going to hold on to the calf crusher as long as possible, and he was not going to let go like he did with Gunther a couple of weeks ago, adding to the build to the retirement matchup at the Royal Rumble. Styles wrapped Nakamura's knee around the ropes and then wrenched on it before dragging him into the middle for another calf crusher attempt. Styles held on to it for what seemed like 10 minutes with Nakamura struggling and crawling slowly to the ropes. Nakamura wouldn't tap out. Nakamura almost made it to the ropes, but then Styles pulled him back and tried to reset the calf crusher, but Nakamura was able to reverse things into a cross arm breaker and then a triangle choke. Styles then lifted him up out of the triangle choke and looked for the Styles Clash, another callback to Wrestle Kingdom 10, but Nakamura got out of it. Then Styles then hit him with a massive knee right to the chin, knocking him senseless. Styles got to his feet first. He limped over to Nakamura on the mat. Styles picked up Nakamura and the two started exchanging forearms. Styles hits him with a Pele kick out of nowhere, but Nakamura stumbles against the ropes and he opened AJ up for a Kinshasa to the back of the neck. Nakamura then went for the cover, but Styles was able to kick out. Nakamura went to the corner. He goes for another Kinshasa, but his knee gave out due to the damage from the calf crusher. Styles hits him with a knee strike of his own, but Nakamura grabbed the ropes to break up the cover as the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome," as the two men were struggling to get to their feet. Styles hoists up Nakamura onto his shoulders and hits him with the spinning slam. He then hits him with the Ushigoroshi and he only gets a 2 count. Styles went for a suplex, but Nakamura was able to counter, and then he tried for another sliding German suplex, but his knee gave out yet again. Styles then hits him with a running knee on the apron and sends him outside. Styles pulled him back. He goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Nakamura is able to catch him and hit the landslide, but he only gets a 2.5. Styles then threw a back elbow. Nakamura took him out with a sling blade, though. No shout out to Hiroshi Tanahashi this time. Styles hits a Pele kick and sends Nakamura back to the mat. Both men were down with Nakamura clutching at his leg at this point. Styles then got to his feet. So did Nakamura. They two start trading chops and forearms and kicks to the hamstrings. Nakamura then threw a headbutt, but when Styles lunged and he caught him with the cross arm breaker, then we get Styles rolled through into a pinning combination, but Nakamura was able to kick out and then kick Styles. Nakamura then went for the Kinshasa, but AJ was able to block it. He sets him up for the Styles Clash, but Nakamura is able to kick his way out of it. He goes for another Kinshasa, but Styles is able to dodge it. Nakamura hits the ring post. Then AJ goes to the apron. He hits him with the phenomenal forearm, but having respect for Nakamura, he knows that's not going to be enough. He picks him up, hits the Styles Clash finally after a couple of teases of the move, and he finally gets the 1-2-3 to pick up the victory here. What a damn match. These guys over-delivered big time. Back-to-back matches where they over-delivered big time, but this was just a brilliantly laid out matchup. Like the little callbacks to their previous matches, the great near falls, the submission work, the mat work, the limb work by AJ was superb throughout. And Nakamura, between this matchup and the Carmelo Hayes matchup, he is showing people he ain't as washed as a lot of people said he was. I even thought that he was a bit washed. His body is finished, but he is so smart. He's such a smart worker. He knows what to do in the ring, and he knows how to deliver when the lights are on brightest, and they were here. This might be one of the last like big time matches that Shinsuke Nakamura has in WWE with his contract set to expire. So he left it all in the ring. I'm so glad they had the opportunity to have this matchup. It was back and forth throughout, and they told a tremendous story throughout with the callbacks to their previous matches, with the reversals and the counter work, and just the brilliant storytelling throughout. And the crowd was completely engaged and just into every bit of this matchup and every near fall throughout the closing stretch of this matchup. Can't get no better than this. Like I said, I thought that Finn Balor and CM Punk was the WWE match of the year so far. I think I will take this one over that one. I think this one it gets a smidge better than that one, but I still gave it 4.5 stars. Excellent matchup. And of course, this egomaniac on social media, I had to post a picture with both of them being like, see what I did, guys? Thank you, Nakamura. Thank you, AJ Styles. not thank you, Hunter. But that was the matchup. This is amazing stuff from both guys. What did you think, Josh?
Like I said earlier, this match was better than I expected. Beat any expectation that I had for the match, just because like what we seen prior, it hasn't lived up to what we thought we would be getting from these two fellas. But there was something that they probably know that we don't know. So that's why they left it all out. Shinsuke came out with his old look, theme song, which I was happy about because I don't like the other stuff. I'm just like, this ain't Shinsuke. Like, just put him back with the music, and like you sold the crowd, like they were into the music. You know what I mean? Like going along with it. This is what Nakamura is, man. So it was cool to see stuff like that. It was cool to see that. It was cool to see certain, callbacks. They definitely fucked up when they were talking about that spot where AJ throws the gun and Nakamura catches the. I'm like, damn, you guys fucked up. Like, you fucked that reference up.
How did you have that weird camera? Like, how are you not telling the camera guys, like, do a wide shot so we can see this sequence? But no, they just botched it.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like I said, man, this match was really good, and I felt like the time that it had, I think that's what really made up that's what made the match great. A match like this kind of needed to be long and needed to have some time to it, and I felt like that's what helped it, because I think this match was like 10 minutes. I thought like, oh, it's okay, but the fact that we got the time that we got with the match, I think that really helped a lot, because we had a lot of nice back and forth, a lot of nice sequences. There were, like I said before, there were about like two spots that they kind of like messed up on, but I think that was because they were moving a little too fast for each other. I think like it was just timing. It wasn't like so much like, oh, this person messed up. I think both of them did, because it was like, I think it was a timing issue. But overall, I mean, I really love this match. I loved how it finished too, like the way that it came about, the front arm, forearm, and then Styles Clash and everything. Again, overall nice match, and then they did the nice callback to the Wrestle Kingdom match with the fist bump. Overall, like if this is the last run for AJ Styles, or even the speculation, I think they did a good job in both ends. Whereas, like, you kind of want to have that suspense, you kind of want to have that speculation out there. So then, knowing that this is probably the last time these fellas are facing each other, it builds up the suspense for next weekend. Where it's like, oh shit, is this the last time we're gonna watch AJ Styles? You kind of have to after this. Fans might not want to accept that, but I'm like, you might have to. You might have to accept that next weekend is the last time you're going to see AJ Styles. I mean, as far as in WWE wise, because I don't know what he plans to do after.
Yeah.
He's adamant that he's going to retire. He's going to stay. Certain guys are like that. AJ Styles has been saying he's been wanting to retire for like the last like 10 years, and he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So he's still wrestling. So I don't know.
So we should mention what Shinsuke Nakamura posted on his Instagram story this morning. So he put like this long diary, but I wrote the day before on his Instagram story, and I'll read a little bit of it. He says, during last year's Australia tour at a house show in Melbourne, AJ gave a speech after the match. Listening to it, it was clear he was thanking the fans, but somehow it also felt like he was hinting that retirement might not be that far away. He goes on to say, the tour continued to Japan, and before the shows there, I asked him something. We were in a van on the way to the meet and greet, and I asked him, when are you going to retire? He answered, the Royal Rumble. I've already decided. Me? He just puts ... exclamation point. Whether I actually said it out loud or just thought it for a split second, I'm not sure, but I remember it closely. Before you retire, I want to wrestle you one more time. AJ nodded. Before the match started, he showed me something he had written on his phone. It was a message he wanted to say to the Japanese fans. He asked me to turn it into proper Japanese. It talked about his anxiety and his excitement when he first came to Japan, and his gratitude toward Japan for accepting him. It was without question a farewell message. As his voice, I gave that speech in Japanese, putting as much emotion into it as I possibly could. That was the moment when his retirement finally started to feel real to me. Even though it was still a little further down the road compared to guys like Cena or Tanahashi, I found myself imagining the enormous sense of loss that would eventually come. 10 years ago, 2016 Tokyo Dome. It was our first ever singles match. That match was later praised all over the world, and not long after, we both left New Japan Pro Wrestling and came to WWE. We never talked about our futures with each other. I think we just happened to make huge decisions at the same time. In America, I was just pushing forward without thinking. I finished NXT and reunited with AJ on the main roster. AJ, on the other hand, took over WWE like a fish in water. He brought a new wind everywhere he went. And honestly, I remember thinking, yeah, that figures. Our reunion moment at Money in the Bank, my Royal Rumble victory, and then our singles match at WrestleMania. I don't think any of that would have happened if AJ hadn't pushed for it. I still have some regrets about what happened after our WrestleMania match, but the final match of that rivalry, our singles match at Money in the Bank in Detroit, it is actually one of my favorite matches, even so. He's straightforward, easy to read, and impossible to hate. His everyday clothes are terrible, and he's got that Southern American accent. What a lovely American. And yet, when it comes to professional wrestling, his balance of expression and technique is the best in the world. Truly one of a kind. I don't say it out loud, but I rely on him. I respect him. And even though we don't actually know each other as deeply as people might think, to me, he's special, almost like a brother and a best friend in my own way. And now our final match awaits. My last chance to give him the perfect send-off. Do your best, me. And pro wrestling gods, please be kind. So a lot of people have alluded that this message from Nakamura is kind of telling us that it is legit that next week he could lose that matchup at Royal Rumble to Gunther, and he could call it a career. We all know the report that came out last September that he signed an extension that it would expire in February of 2026. So do you believe that AJ Styles is really going to retire next week at the Royal Rumble?
Do I believe it? Low key, I don't. Just because I'm like, to retire again, to retire right before, Mania, I could see that being a possibility, but with the extension and the time frame, it does make sense. If he does do it, he does it. But I also think it was kind of the timing of it is kind of like weird because like they were kind of using him more lately. They were kind of using him more and he was being presented. And then even the whole TNA stuff where people speculated off of that alone, like, oh, he's probably going to have a match in TNA by the end of the year. He's going to face this Frankie Kazarian. I think without the WWE umbrella, I don't think that happens. Just because AJ's asking price is going to be too high. Once he leaves WWE, he doesn't have the WWE connection. His asking price is going to be more than they probably could afford, to be honest with you. So I don't see that happening if this is it for Styles. But if it is true and he does end up leaving, you best believe the other guy is gonna be reaching out to AJ. Hey, what would it take for you to come in? And he will pay anything to have AJ Styles in a match or two. So it's gonna be interesting, but hearing Nakamura's speech, obviously that could mean anything, but it just feels like, yeah, like it feels like he's gonna retire next week.
It really does, like, especially considering that Nakamura posted this on his Instagram story and then he deleted it. And I don't think he deleted it because he wanted to delete it. I think he deleted it because someone asked him to delete it. Whether that's AJ Styles, whether that's Triple H, whether that's WWE management, I don't know. But yeah, this seems like this was like the extra confirmation that this shit, it might be for real. Like it could be actually retiring, which would put even more kind of buzz behind Royal Rumble that really needs it with a week out from the show.
Yeah, I personally I would have preferred it at a better place. You know, and I'm not knocking the Saudi crowd because I think the Saudi crowd is very solid for WWE for what they get, but somewhere else I thought it would have been better. Especially here in America, I think would have probably made more, you know, mean more, because like I don't think the Saudi crowd kind of understands what AJ Styles has meant to professional wrestling. And this is no knock to them at all. It's not a knock to them at all. But you know, AJ Styles, you're talking about a man. You're talking about like a 22, 23, 24 year career. That, you know, he carried a company at one point. He carried a smaller company at one point. Bet on himself. Went to Japan, and then he ended up being in WWE, and this is where he's been at ever since. You know, we got 2 WWE championships from him. Two more than I ever thought what was going to happen in WWE. So I mean, the man, he's accomplished it all. He's done it all. You know, so there's not much that AJ Styles has to prove when it comes to his career, his career. You know, if he's very content of retiring now, you know, he has 4 kids. You know, some of them are still young. You know, he's gonna do what he feels like it's best for him. He's made all the money in the world that he can make. You know, he's fine financially. But like I said, that prospect of AEW and what they could offer is probably going to be tempting. It's probably going to, he could say whatever he wants, but if somebody offered me $2 million, $3 million, I'm just saying, like, sign me up.
I mean, someone said this in their 2026 predictions. This would be the thing that would top me saying that Triple H's last great creative year was 2024 and that 2025 was gonna suck. This would top it if AJ signs with AEW.
Oh God, you're gonna be unbearable. That's the only thing I can tell. Like, oh.
I'm gonna start showing up with the wrap around my head and be like, I'm Negro Damas. I am no longer SP3. I am now Negro Damas.
Yeah, and the only way that doesn't happen if AJ Styles feels a certain level of loyalty to WWE, then he probably won't do it. That's the only thing I could think of. But at the same time, if you could do whatever you want, man, and you're a free agent and somebody offering you a lot of money. Because remember, when AJ Styles leaves, a lot of people don't know. When AJ Styles leaves, he keeps his name. Oh, hi.
So you say hi to Josh?
No, I have presents.
You have presents from me. Okay, you're gonna show the people the presents. Okay. What is this? What do we have here? We have. What is this? Tell the people.
I had a kitty toy.
Hello Kitty toy. There we go.
And a ring.
And a ring. Oh my goodness. A wing. Okay. A wing. Yes, a wing. She broke this off of a bird, I guess.
And it's Angela.
And an Angela sticker. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
And some
plasters. Oh my goodness. So many gifts. This is amazing.
And who's in my box?
And who's in my box? What is this?
A glue.
A glue stick. Oh, don't put it on your fingers, please. Did you say hi to Josh? Say hi, Josh.
I love my gift present.
She's too busy talking about her gift present. Okay, Okay, you got your foot stuck in the mic. All right, there you go. You good? You wanna collect everything and put it back in the box?
Yes.
And then you're gonna say bye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye everybody. Bye Josh. Say bye Josh.
Bye, Josh. See you tomorrow.
So you
Take
see,
care.
no, you see him next weekend. Not tomorrow. No, you don't see him next weekend. You'll see him in a few weekends. Not tomorrow though. Okay.
It's empty, but the glue stick is empty.
Yeah, put it in this one. You can take this one and put it in there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Perfect, right?
Perfect. Let's put it in there.
All right. This was the Harlem show.
Bye bye.
Oh, you dropped it. Oh. There you go. There is the Harlem section of the show. Everybody's rooting for you in the chat. Bye bye.
No, so I was saying too is that with AJ Styles, when he leaves, he keeps his name, he keeps his likeness. So like all the designs of him, like he has to keep it, because they basically just license it. So imagine if he goes to AEW and they sell his merch. I'm like, damn, that would be kind of insane. Again, the only way that ever happens, there's a level of loyalty that I think that if Styles wants to keep it and he feels like that he has for WWE, then he's definitely not going to do it. But there's always speculation, there's always thought. But to happen this soon, I think that's what I'm more surprised with if it happens this soon. Because I was like, oh, he was like talking about like 2026. I'm like, you're gonna retire in the first month of the year, bro? Like, all right, like,
and he's still he's still one of the best in the world. Like he's delivered time in, time out. He had that great match with Gunther a couple of weeks ago. He had an instant classic here with Nakamura. Like, yeah, it's like, dude, it just feels too soon to do that right now.
it does. But if it happens, it happens. Unfortunately, but. Doesn't take away from anything he's ever done in his career. So, if it happens, it'll be sad, but we've been lucky enough to see his career. So that's all I gotta say.
One of the all-time greats, one of the greatest in-ring performers of not just his generation, of all time, AJ Styles. What he did in TNA, what he was able to do in places like ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then the last 10 years in WWE, he has been what he has always said he is, phenomenal. So we'll talk more about AJ Styles in the week to come, as it looks like we might be seeing his final match ever. And let us know in the live chat or in the comments down below what you think it's going to be, if it is going to be his retirement at Royal Rumble. Give us a percentage, give us a 0 to 100 in the chat or in the comments down below. We shift over to Stephanie McMahon in the host desk. She caught everyone up on what's happened so far in the night, and then she set up for the main event, fatal four-way, #1 contenders matchup, through to some footage of Sami Zayn arriving to the building to a huge ovation, and then she threw it right to the matchup. Well, first we got a promo for WrestleMania again. I don't know how many of these commercials I can take. But anyway, we got the Undisputed WWE Championship #1 contenders fatal four-way matchup. Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, and the hometown hero, Montreal's own Sami Zayn. Orton made his way down to the ring first, ensuring us that the people can sing his song. Priest took one look at Orton's entrance and said, "You call that sauntering?" and slowly made his way down to the ring. Trick had one of the loudest ovations outside of like Sami Zayn with the whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that trick from the fans. We get early on, we see we did get like a photo of Kevin Owens watching this show from his home on social media. Shout outs to KO, still recovering from neck surgery. The bell rang and Williams bails out of the ring. Orton went for an early RKO on Priest, but this allowed Zayn to clothesline him out of the ring. That left Orton and Zayn in the ring together as the crowd were screaming as these two babyfaces was going to go at it, but Trick pulls Sami out of the ring by his ankle and then starts beating him down at ringside. Orton followed and took out Trick. Priest launched himself off the steel steps and took out Orton and Williams. In the ring, Priest and Zayn fought for a bit. We get Priest going for a suplex, but Orton comes in and he involves himself with a headbutt. Orton and Zayn finally lock up with one another, with Orton throwing him into the corner, but Zayn reverses it and starts feeding Orton some punches. Williams chose this time to make his presence felt as he starts stomping on Orton and shoves him out of the ring. He then turns his attention and his fist to Zayn, getting some boos. Anytime anybody was getting offense early on Sami, they were just greeted with massive boos from the Montreal crowd. You knew who they were rooting for. Zayn fired up and threw some chops, but Trick cuts him off with a spinning heel kick. That allowed Priest to slam Williams for a 2 count. Priest then set up Zayn for a power driver, but Zayn was countered it with the tornado DDT. We get the Olay chance as Sami caught a returning Orton with a Blue Thunder bomb attempt, but Orton was able to block it, and then he lands a big snap power slam. He then clotheslines Trick out of the ring. Orton then grabbed Priest and dropped him with the draping DDT. Williams came back in just in the nick of time. He got a kick into the gut, which allowed for Sami to catch Orton with the Blue Thunder bomb, and he gets a 2 count. Orton then crawled to the corner. Sami charged and went for the Aluva kick, but Williams was able to interrupt that with another leg lariat. Priest threw feet at Williams, and then he slid out of the ring. He followed and charged Trick. Trick was able to catch him with the bookend on top of the barricade, which gave Sami the chance to hit a tope con hilo to the floor. Orton picked up Zayn on the outside, but Zayn countered it and he slammed Orton on top of the announce table. Zayn then scrambled back into the ring. He hits the Aluva kick on Priest, but Williams pulls the referee out before the count of 3, screwing over Sami. Orton then grabbed Trick and he slams him on top of the announce table. He then grabbed Zayn. He did the same to him. He then grabbed Priest and did the same to him. He shared a nice soda pop, and then he slammed Priest again, and then Williams again. Orton was on fire at this point. Orton then tossed Trick back into the ring, but Trick rolled away. That left Orton open for a roll-up from Zayn, but only a 2 count. Orton then hit the ring post off a shoulder charge, and then Zayn got out of the way. Zayn went up top, but Orton moved, and then Orton went for the RKO, but Zayn was able to block it. He then goes for the Aluva kick, but then Orton hits him with the RKO out of nowhere. Williams then ran in and grabbed Orton, tosses him out, and then pins Sami. Very close 2 count before Priest breaks up the cover. Priest and Trick started trading shots on the ring apron, which allowed for Orton to break things up and hit the draping DDT, Hangman's DDT, and lay out both men. He looks for the RKO, but Williams is able to block it. Orton then gets hit with the South of Heaven choke slam, but then Williams sneaks in. He gets a crucifix pin on Priest for a 2 count. Priest then rolled out in time for Zayn to hit Williams with an exploder in the corner. He then goes for the Aluva kick, but Trick moved. Zayn then tweaked his knee on the rope. Williams went up top, but Zayn cuts him off and grabs him. Priest then hits Zayn with the Razor's Edge. Priest then turned his attention to Trick, which left Priest open for an Aluva kick out of nowhere as Trick fell to the floor. Zayn then gets the pinfall. 1, 2, 3, as Orton barely is able to not get there in time and break up the cover, as Sami Zayn has punched his ticket for the Royal Rumble, where he will face Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. After the matchup, Drew tried to get the drop on Zayn, but Zayn saw it coming and tosses him out. Zayn then stood tall as the fireworks go off, and he gets a massive ovation from his hometown crowd. very good main event. They kept the action moving and kept it like energetic throughout. All the guys in the ring were on point in this matchup. I thought Orton and Zayn had the best exchanges out of everybody that went up against one another in the matchup, and I would love to see like a long-term program between Zayn and Orton down the road before both men retire. This was a really good matchup to close things off. I give it 3 3/4 stars. What did you give it?
I thought the 44. I thought it was a solid match. Nice back and forth between everybody. The crowd was really into it too. Every time like Sami did something or Sami got close, the crowd really got into it. And I do agree. Like I would like to see a Orton and Sami program. I think they'll do some solid stuff. But overall, overall it was a solid match. Trick Williams. The way they've kind of been building him up, they kind of made him feel important early on. I think that's great for a Trick. Because even the crowd was into it. The crowd singing his theme. So it's like one of those things, in hindsight, where it's like, we mentioned how Trick was like an 8th year senior in NXT, and we were like, yeah, he should have been called up sooner. But on hindsight, this might have been the best move for him to wait, because they found a way to make him feel important early on. And I felt like this match was no different, where he was able to do some things that showcased him as well. The only thing I would say is it was funny because when he did the haluva kick, when he missed like when he missed one of them, there was a nice build up to that where people thought like that was going to be the finish of the match, but then he misses. And then when he did it to actually win, the crowd, I guess they were kind of waiting. It kind of felt like they were kind of just waiting because they thought it was going to be another kick out. So it wasn't as high. So when he did it, he got the pinfall. It was more of a surprise because even I noticed it on TV where I was like, oh shit, like, because you saw Orton trying to come into the ring and then he was like late, you know what I mean? Like, because you could tell he took a sweet ass time. He just went like that. So I think that's why people were like, I want to say the crowd wasn't into it that much, but you could kind of feel like there was a subtle feeling because of that. But then when he won, it was like, oh shit, like the match is over. But overall, I thought it was a solid matchup. Honestly, I thought it was a solid matchup. The right person won, So, he gets another title shot, and unfortunately, he's not going to win. So, it is what it is. But I think the right person did win because you do need that heel to to stay hot, to stay on top, and I think Sami Zayn is the perfect person to do that. And also, there's history between Drew and Sami that he has not won yet. So it's just going to continue.
0-11.
To
0-11.
Yeah. 11. Like damn, bro, you're going to end up 0-12 next weekend, unfortunately. But that still continues the story where it's like, all right, he's finally going to have to win at some point. So it's going to continue.
Yeah. This was a really good matchup. It sets up what I think is going to be No worries. What I think is going to be a great matchup at the Royal Rumble, and it's the right guy because Montreal. This gave the night like a satisfying, happy ending to the show with the hometown hero winning, and then it sets up Sami in like his secondary hometown in Saudi Arabia to get the title shot against Drew, which could play into the wider story of Sami eventually winning the world title back in Saudi Arabia at next year's WrestleMania. So this worked on every level, and I agree with you. Trick Williams feels very at home in the upper mid card to main event scene on SmackDown, and he did not look out of place with any of these four guys in the ring. So that is a credit to him because this was a big opportunity, big matchup for him in the early stages of his main roster run. But that is what we think of WWE Saturday night's main event. It is now time for you to let us know what you thought of the show. If you're watching us on demand, let us know in the comments down below what you thought of the show. And if you're with us live, you can do it in the live chat. Final call for super chat donations, guys. If you want to show your support and I'll show your appreciation for our review, you can do so with that. You can also let us know in the live chat, what was your match of the night? your MVP, your LVP, your moment of the night. Whether you give the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and out of 10, what did you give last night's show? For me and the True Draw Josh, for WWE Saturday Night's main event for January 24, 2026, in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. Out of 10, what did you give this show, Josh?
The show itself, I'm thinking about between 8.5 and 9, because I thought the show was really that good. Again, we had 3 matches, but I thought it was well paced. It didn't feel like it dragged. It didn't feel like there was like, usually when WWE does like these short matches, sometimes like these short card matches, it's kind of like, damn, we got into an hour with no wrestling, and then now we finally got another match. You didn't feel that way last night. They kind of worked with the 2-hour window they had, and it was kind of just like we got to see solid matches. So can't really complain. I'm gonna go with an 8.5.
Yeah, I agree with you. 8.5. All the matches delivered to some level. All the matches were good to great. And it was a great angle at the start of the show, a fun brawl that heats up the title picture on SmackDown as well. So yeah, this is a thumbs up show. 8.5 out of 10 for me. Match of the night, easily Styles versus Nakamura.
Same. Styles to Nakamura.
And moment of the night, it's a tie for me. I'm gonna go with Nakamura and Styles with the fist bump at the end, another callback to Wrestle Kingdom 10, and I'm gonna go with the overall angle that was Cody and Jacob Fatu.
I'm gonna go with the fist bump, just because it was a nice callback. They put focus on that too. But also this is probably the last time we're seeing Nakamura versus Styles, so that was a nice moment for me.
MVP for the show, I will go with Sami Zayn for becoming number 1 contender.
MVP for me is Sami Zayn.
LVP for the show, Josh.
Oof. LVP, there's not a lot. There's like maybe Stephanie McMahon, because I didn't want to see her on my screen. Every time she talks, it's just like, oh my God. Like go away.
I was gonna say that too. I was like, the only unnecessary person on the show was probably Stephanie McMahon. I was like, I can make an argument for like Raquel Rodriguez not effectively helping out the Judgment Day, but that's like me just pushing it. It's Stephanie. It's definitely Stephanie McMahon.
It's like, yeah, she's just she gives like annoying mom energy.
Yeah, definitely. Annoying Whiteley, annoying Karen, who's here and telling us about, oh, your clothes is not straight. Oh, this show is great, isn't it? I don't need you to tell me this. I know the show is great, you idiot. But anyway, that is our review for WWE Saturday Night's main event. So, but I said it, if I said it at the top, I'll say it again. The best WWE show so far this year, and the best Saturday Night's main event that they've had since the revival in 2024. So hats off to WWE for that. True Draw Josh, let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they might see you again.
All right, so you can follow me, JamPunk321 on X and Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube. I have a channel. I'm about to post up a short right now because when I was outside, I took a few videos and I was like, oh shit, the snow is crazy. So you can follow me there, and then I'll be back on February 7th. That's where I'm going to present my Bump 15. So I got some time, and I'll be back February 7th for the podcast.
There you go. Be on the lookout for the Bum 15 on February 7th. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. You can follow the gang Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. Patreon.com/TrueHillHeat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. The best way to support us when we are not live here. Go over and check out me and the True Draw Josh as well as Miss Chrissy Love on True Hill Heat 365 from yesterday. We talked about Evil going to WWE. We talked about Tommaso Ciampa's exit from WWE, WWE Unreal, Austin Zayn and The Rock possibly making their returns, plus the whole Trey Miguel saga. It was a great episode, so go over and check that out right now. It's on the homepage, and I will be back with you on Tuesday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time, with Rated Raw Review reviewing Monday Night Raw, where me, Top Guy JJ, will talk more about AJ Styles possibly retiring next Saturday at the Royal Rumble. For the Tru Draw Josh, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our WWE Saturday Night's main event review. We are signing off until next time.